cost benefit.
Okay,
I feel like most of our questions so far have been like helpful questions for the general public, which I think is really good. But I'd also like to hear, like, what prevents Travis personally from embracing voluntarism?
What would prevent a malevolent law enforcement agency from developing in a anarchist free society? And what I'd like to point out, in our large, like America, where we have 50 different states and some of them are bigger than other countries, and there's so many different people, so many different opportunities in our wide melting pot, what would prevent a malevolent law enforcement agency from developing? Malevolent law enforcement monopoly. Sorry, I got my terms mixed up.
That's cool. This is a really good question that is very frequently asked. And it's not a short answer because it's a really complicated thing to try and predict how safety organizations might go rogue in the future. I'd say that standing armies are extremely expensive. The only way in all of history they have really been funded is through coercive taxation. So absent a system of forced extraction of resources, your ability to maintain and use a standing army for any reason would be severely limited. Let's just say you had the ability to do that and weren't checked by any external forces. Second, I would say that one of the main things that people use armies for in the world is to capture tax livestock. Meaning, if I take over country A, I'm doing it for the purposes of capturing any natural resources in the area, but also for taking over the structure of taxation in that area. So if somebody took over the United States federal government, there's already a complete Internal Revenue Service structure of taxation in place. People would just continue showing up to work. Your company would continue extracting income tax out of your paychecks. Life would go on as usual, and the invader would now gain a massive income stream. In a free society, none of that exists. If they want to benefit from a tax stream, they're going to have to go door to door and start threatening people, which would be like infinitely more expensive and would make the cost benefit of that particular economic calculation untenable, right? So that's the second thing I would say. And I got like 50 things I could say, so jump in if you have any comments.
So I would like to ask you a question that was posed to Mr. Kokesh during his debate with Richard Spencer. Did you happen to see that debate?
No.
He was asked, not by Richard Spencer, but actually by a fan that somehow was able to send a question to be asked. The question was, let's presume that America decides to turn anarchist, and there's a bunch of individualists, and there's no collective creating an army through coercive measures, as you were explaining, has always been the case. So now America is anarchist, but another country, for example, maybe China, which has not become anarchist at this point in the story, in the timeline, what would prevent them from just brutally taking us over?
Well, the first thing I'd say is what I just said, what is there to take over? There is no standing system of control and taxation that they would benefit from the great expense of attacking this country, especially considering there's more guns than people here. It would be sort of semi-insane, even for somebody without, like a government is not subject to the free market controls, so they wouldn't have those disincentives to attack people. So if they chose to try and attack a free state or a free area of the world, they wouldn't have the disincentive of sort of capitalism and market forces. But they would have an immense expense that would have a limited benefit because there is no system of taxation for them to capture once they get here in a free society. Second, I would say that when you make defense non-coercive, you open up the genius of the free market to find solutions to that problem, the market problem of, or I would say the market demand of safety. People want to be safe from foreign gangs called countries that want to take them over and, extract resources from them. So you would unleash entrepreneurs into the world that would be begging for your money to try their solution at keeping you safe. There's a lot of good ideas. Some of them are crazy. Some of them are not so crazy sounding. I'll go for a normal one, and then I'll talk about a crazy one just to kind of give you the spectrum. The not crazy one would be GoFundMe style defense. North Korea is making threats like they're going to try and take over everyone in this area we call America. Chip in $10 now, or chip in $50 and you'll get the platinum rewards for you'll get your name on one of the bombs that we launch at China for attacking us. You don't. I think in Texas alone, you would raise so much money, you'd have plenty of ability to defend against an aggressive country. And because you wouldn't have to worry about all the bullshit politics, inter-country politics of, if we do this to them, they might respond with, tariffs or, all that's gone. It's just raw, direct defense. You raise money, you spend that money on weapons, you point those weapons at the bad guy and you take them out, let them have their politics. Politics doesn't exist anymore. Just think about that phrase for a second. Wow. So that's probably like the probably realistic answer, or the more, tame answer. The second thing, let's go extreme now. This might not happen. It's kind of scary if it does. But in a free society, there's something called, and you can read about this, Google the term assassination marketplace or assassination politics. Right now, it would only be able to exist on the darknet market, obviously, because if it was a public website, the people would be arrested immediately for even running such a thing. But consider it like a marketplace for bidding on targeted assassinations. You have a really evil despot in China or North Korea or wherever threatening to attack your neighborhood. Your neighborhood says, hey, we don't want to do that. Why don't we all chip in some money on this assassination marketplace to just go and take out the head of that military or the head of that country for daring to threaten us with that kind of force? I think it wouldn't take much money. I don't think the threshold of money that would be required to take out any single human on the planet would be above the reach of a crowdfunding campaign like that. What that would do is make every despot and leader and criminal in the world scared to threaten anybody, which is something we do not have now, really.
And to be clear, you may not want to just Google assassination marketplace.
Yeah,
you might want to load like a Tor browser.
Probably not.
Or something like that, So just as a public service announcement, so you're not on every government watch list like me and Patrick probably are, Tor is probably something you want to look at. And also, it's interesting because there's all this technology that people say, well, the U.S. government can literally blow people away, with drones and stuff like that. And if that was in the hands of the GoFundMe people or the despot assassination, don't Google that term, that could very quickly reshape the whole face of international politics, right? So, don't Google that.
So just a couple ideas. There's plenty more, and there's ones that aren't as creepy as an assassination political marketplace. But I wanted to give you the spectrum, and that's kind of the best and the worst. So the market will find solutions to this problem. It's a market problem. People have a demand for safety, and there are geniuses that work in the capitalist system to solve people's problems just like that.
I think that was a very thorough answer, something that was very insightful for myself and others as well.